Hey guys, Cash here with Grow Laredo, and of course getting ready for another episode of Grow Yourself with Eliud Garcia of Gold's Gym. 7 clubs, an entrepreneurial journey. It's going to be a great show. Lots to talk about with Eliud and his journey, his chase to make his dreams come true. We'll share that story with you in just a few moments, so keep it locked where you got it. Another episode of Grow Yourself coming up.
Unfortunately, Laredo, a storm decided to come in and that storm had hail. Fortunately for you, that means huge savings. We are currently assessing the damages to the cars, and we challenge you to come and find some of the minor imperfections. The exciting part is that deep discounts will be available on all our inventory. You can take a car as is and save thousands, or we can fix it and have you drive away in it. Either way, we've got the Hail Yes sales event starting now at Family Chevrolet and Family Nissan.
Hey guys, we are live. The show is about to start. I wanted to make sure technically we were ready to do this because we had some fun last week. And if you're tuning in for the first time, this is Grow Yourself. It's an entrepreneurial show about the journey of chasing dreams and making those dreams come true. And with me, Eliud Garcia of Gold's Gym Laredo, Gold's Gym The Valley, Gold's Gym North Central, dude, man, we're blessed to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Very, very cool to just talk to you, man, about the entrepreneurial journey. And I want everybody to know how blessed we are because, you know, we had some tech difficulties. And as busy of a guy as Eliud is, he came in and was gracious enough to do this interview a second time.
Again,
so,
yes.
Bro, I can't tell you how thankful I am and how cool that is of you, because most people as busy as they are, as I would imagine you are, would probably be like, dude, what's going on? I mean, you know, so I appreciate you taking the time. Lots to talk about.
Yes.
Lots going on.
Yes. Hopefully we can mimic the conversation we had last time.
I'm not going to let any of that content slide by. For those that don't know who you are, tell everybody out there about what has happened, because a lot has happened for you. From the age of 25, because I'm going to fast forward. I'm not really going to dive deep into a lot of, you know, your growth into that 25-year-old.
Okay.
But since 25 years old, what has happened? Because it's 15 years later.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Yeah. When I was 25, well, I'm turning 40 this year, so it's 14 years ago. So I'm still 39, and let's not say 40 yet.
All right.
But 25 years old, I moved down to Laredo to start our first Gold's Gym in South Texas. I was living in Victoria, Texas, had the opportunity to open a fitness facility, you know, with my, spoke to some guys I know, and there were some opportunities. Didn't work out the way we had it, and then Gold's Gym came out from my brother. He found it, and we decided to open our first one we bought the franchise in July of 2014, and we opened our first club January of 2015. It was a pre-sale, a 2,000 square foot facility, and we started pre-selling it. I was probably in this a room size of this office, and we ended up selling the first month about 250 memberships. I didn't even have equipment. I was just selling, and yeah. By the end, but the cool thing is
you had a vision though.
Yes, but by the end of the pre-sale, the funniest thing is I had a 2,100 square foot. I said 2,000, but it was a 2,100 square foot facility. And it was a pre-sale, active pre-sale. So basically, we let people go in there and work out. By the time I opened the main facility, we had 2,200 members. So I couldn't even stand every single one of my members in the room side by side. We had so many members by the time we opened our main facility. That was a cool part. I could say that was actually really exciting. So we opened up our main club, and we had so much energy and so much, I guess the city of Laredo really supported us. We had support. It was a really cool thing to see. But yeah, you know, I know we talked about last time, you know, me be 25 years old and having that opportunity. And that was, I think, the big thing. You know, I had the support of my father, had the support of my brothers and sisters to do this. You know, we took a huge risk, and they took a risk on my operational skills or what I could do to be able to open this, because we're talking about, it was a pretty large investment, right? And
it's a huge investment.
Yeah, it was a big. At the time, I thought no big deal, because when you're a 25-year-old, you don't really realize how much money that really is when you're starting a business, and you know, and we didn't do it. You know, we didn't. What's the word I'm trying to look? I don't want to say the word, was half-assed it. We didn't. We went full on. You know, we bought the land, we built the building, owned it both, and that itself is a huge cost. We didn't rent out a location and just do a finish out. You're talking about, we went from the ground up, and you know, my father to be, you know, put so much trust in his son at 25 years old. I think it is probably one of the most amazing things I could say. You know, how he believed in me. He believed in the vision. He believed in, you know, that we could do what we were doing. And like I said, and there's not a lot of people who could say that, who could invest what he invested. It was, you know, everything. I don't want to say everything he had, but, you know, it was a lot.
Absolutely. What has been the single most important thing that kind of sticks out right now for you? You're going into 7 clubs, or you're at 7. You're at 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into.
I know you have some big goals.
Yes.
What's been the biggest learning experience for you in this process? Because I know, man, there's got to be something that really sticks out, that really just kind of resonates with you.
Learning process for what, to continue our growth,
or
growth. Before I got into my growth. You know, there's a lot of things that go into it. You know, having the right team. You know, making sure you're mentoring the people correctly. You're teaching people. You answer the whys. There's a lot of whys. We're doing what we're doing, how we're doing it, and people are more likely to embrace your ideas and your thoughts and your vision when they understand the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? How are we going to do what we're doing? You know, knowing your numbers. I just can't really pinpoint the most important thing. You know, minimizing mistakes. You know, timing. We talked about timing a lot. You know, making sure it's the right time, because you could start a business, and if it's just the wrong time, your business is going to crash. It might not be a bad idea, but at the time that you're doing it could be the wrong time. Financial timing, that I touched on that last time. I think that's very important. You got to know when money's coming in, money's going out, when things are due, when things aren't due, because a lot of it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have the money. It's just the timing of when you need the money is also important. I could just go on and on about, you know, and I'm sorry.
You're not 25 anymore.
Yeah.
You're 40.
Yeah.
You're
39.
You're 39. You're 39.
That's what my wife says. You're 39.
You're 39. You're not 40 yet. But I think, you know, if I asked this question to the 25-year-old, you know, Eliud at 25, I don't think you would have the answers. And I think that's that's the biggest part.
Experience, I guess, yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
And you know, we were talking about, you're going through a hiring process right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you mentioned was that you're kind of making sure that the person you pick is somebody that is capable of handling, you know, the position that you need them to fill.
Yeah.
And a lot of times right now, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I'm educated, I have a degree, and that automatically grants me a rite of passage.
Correct.
Do you feel like that?
I think education is a great thing. I'm 100% for educating yourself. I think continuing education is important. I think constantly learning is always an important thing. If you stop learning, you're never going to continue to grow. But going back into, what would if I had a choice to pick someone with an education or with experience, who would I go with? I would say 9 times out of 10, I'd go with experience. Experience, I think, is so valuable. You don't have to. They understand the whys a lot. They understand how to do certain things. You don't have to. And it's the most simple thing. And I was talking to I think one of my managers the other day, and I was just like, you can't blame someone for not knowing. You blame yourself for not teaching them what they don't know. Because if someone doesn't know it, they just don't know it. And we take it for granted. I think a lot of us take our knowledge, like you take a lot of your knowledge for granted on what you know. And you would assume when you talk to someone that they know what you're talking about, because to you think, oh, it's no big deal. And it's an everyday thing, yeah. And I see it the same thing when I'm talking to someone, and I say a lot of things. They're just like, I see their eyes open. I say like, oh wow, never thought of it like that. And I thought to myself, wow, like really? But same thing happens when I have conversations with other people where they're telling me things, and I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have thought it that way. But we really underestimate knowledge that people have for everything, for absolutely anything. And that's why I enjoy talking to people. I like learning. Last time we were here, I was asking you, how is this and how is that? Because I like to learn. I like to know what you're doing. And
sure.
And I always feel like I'm educated somewhat when I learn new things, and I feel good, and I feel when I have a conversation, I could sound a little more intelligent about certain things that I didn't know about before. So. Like I said, experience is a great thing, and I always I would say like 9 times out of 10 I would pick experience over an education. But I'm 100% for education. I think that's important. I think what an education does is it's giving us it tells an employer, okay, this person has the ability to learn what I need them to learn. Why? Because they got educated on it, so they understand. They have a backing, they have a background in it, so they do understand what I'm looking for.
They can comprehend.
Yeah, they have.
Doesn't necessarily mean you can complete.
Yes, exactly.
So
they have the ability to learn it and to know it, but would they be effective in doing it?
Right.
You don't
and
know.
not all. And I totally agree with you. Because I think, while I have my bachelor's degree and I've had several years of education, I don't feel like any of that education equals to the amount of experience that I've received out.
Correct.
So yeah, I think when you choose experience over education, it just me fresh out of college versus me fresh out of a seminar or fresh out of completing a task is something totally different.
Yes.
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
Experience and education aren't the same.
Yeah, and if you could find someone, a mentor, someone who has experience in what you're doing, so much value there. People really underestimate the value that is
A mentorship.
A mentorship, yeah, definitely.
Would you say your dad was your biggest mentor?
He was. He in the business. Well, overall, yes. He's accomplished a lot in his life. He's hard work. He's always drilled hard work for us, and he's always set bars really high for us. He always expected more from us. And when I was young, I always tell this story because it's to this, at the time when it happened, I was just like, my gosh, I was really upset. But afterwards, I was like, I understand the reason he did it. I came down from college. I was in College Station, so it was like a 5-hour drive, right? And it's not like easy access. It's not like San Antonio or Austin. You have to go through these back roads and you get to College Station. So I came down from college with a buddy of mine and spend the weekend here. Of course, we come into town and we're college kids. What do? We go across the river. We enjoy ourselves, and I went out Saturday night, stayed out a little longer than I should have, and I didn't get up on time. My buddy called me early in the morning saying like, hey, I'm heading out. And I was just like, I woke up, I was really tired. I was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'll take one of my father's cars, no big deal. My father has a tendency to buy cars and never sell them. He goes, I don't get the value for them, so I'm going to keep them forever. I said, okay. So he had like, maybe exaggerating, but maybe 10 cars, right? Okay. And I'm not saying like, oh, hi. No, he just has cars. He just buys them. And so I go, I'll take one of my father's cars, no big deal. So then I went back to bed, woke up later, and he, I tell him, I go, hey, I'm going to take off. Could I borrow one of your cars? And he was like, oh, what happened? And he goes, what happened with your friend that you came down with? And I was just like, he had to leave. And he left without you? I go, well, he got up early and he left. He goes, well, why didn't you get up? And I was like, well, because I went out last night. But didn't you know he was going to leave early in the morning? I go, yeah, I did. But I didn't. Like, I'm just asking. He goes, yeah, I did. And he was just like, okay, well, maybe you should have, prepared for that and not stayed out so late. So, no, you figure out how you're going to get back to school. Literally, I was just like, wait, what? I was like, he was like, yeah, you figure out how you're going to get back to school. So I was like, what do you mean? You have like all these cars. Like, let me one of your cars. I'll take off. He was just like, no, you're being irresponsible and you think you could do whatever you want. You figure out how you're going to get back to school. So I said, okay. I said, all right, no big deal. 20, 21, thinking, whatever, man, I'll figure it out.
I rule the world.
Yeah, exactly. I'll figure it out. So I went and I started calling all my buddies, everyone who was in town. They all had left because I woke up really late. I was like, man, how the hell am I going to get back? So I go back to him. I go, everyone left. I can't get a ride. He goes, well, you're a smart kid. Figure it out. And I was like, well, what, do you want me to take a bus or what? He goes, there you go. Take a bus. I was like, so I went on and I started looking for bus rides back to College Station. I finally found one. I had to leave at 8 o'clock at night. I didn't get to College Station until 10 a.m. So I literally was going to be on the road for about, 14 hours? Yeah. 14 hours? Yeah. I was just like, well, but that was the only way I could get there so I could get to my class on time. So I was like, man. So I was fine. I went, I got the ticket, and I went to him. I go, okay, well, I got a ride. Could you take me to the bus stop? Nope. No, I'm not going to take you to the bus. You find a way how you're going to get there. I was so furious. I got there. It was the worst bus ride of my life. Like, I'm talking about, I would have never sent one of my kids on those buses. Well, at the time.
Right.
It was just the worst ride. It was like, I was scared I was going to get robbed or mugged on there. It was bad. And I got to College Station. I didn't speak to him for like a month or two. I was just like, I was so furious. And I couldn't believe he did that to me. But it taught me a lesson. And that's why I think to this day, mind you, it's almost been 20 years, this happened. And I still think of that. And I still tell people about that. Why? Because it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson of responsibility. It taught me a lesson of, I had to go through that. It was terrible, that whole thing.
I've taken some bus rides in my life, man. And you're not lying.
It was bad. But like I said, it taught me a lot. And those are the things where I think, some parents nowadays just won't do that. Some parents would not do that to their kids because, you just want to be a good parent. And, okay, I don't want to put my kid through any suffering and all that. But life lessons, honestly. And even to this day, I think of all my professors, I think of all my teachers in high school, and you know who the ones that are most memorable? The ones that were the hardest on me, honestly, at the end of the day, because they're the ones who taught me the most about responsibility and hard work more than anyone else. And I think that's really important. I think, at the time you think, if you're hard on your kids or they're going to be upset. Yeah, they are, but it's going to make them better, and it's going to teach everyone more.
It molds you into an individual of character, I think. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people get their character from. It builds character.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes in this society, in this day and age where we're sort of it's a gimme
everything.
Yeah.
And which they're allowed. If you think about it, it's just so much give me. And there is, I think, like, back then when we were young, you remember, you wanted to watch Guns N' Roses video. You literally had to wait for the top 10 on MTV at 3:30 for your video to come on, because we had no other way if you wanted to listen to that song unless you lucked out on the radio.
Right.
And that was like, we learned patience, we learned all this stuff, and I think it's been lost, just because it's a give me, I want it right now, and they have the ability to get anything they want nowadays. We all do,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say you wanna learn something real quick. Before, we'd had to go to the library and get a book, like our research papers and all that. We had to go to the library, the index cards, and do all that.
Now you can pay somebody to do your research paper.
Or Google. Google. You want to find something out, you just Google it now.
Man.
But yeah, sorry, I went off subject.
No,
but
I think what you're touching on goes back to some of the things that what you're talking about is experience, patience,
hard work. Yeah.
Hard work. These are the things. These are the characteristics of people that are successful. And if you don't have these characteristics, it's going to be very difficult for you to survive in this world, because unfortunately there's a lot of what is the word that I'm looking for? It's that I guess people expectation, like we expect things to happen for us simply because we want it to happen.
Yeah.
And those things don't happen sometimes for a lot of individuals because they're not patient. They're not prepared.
Yeah.
I'll snooze the clock. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
I'll put this off, procrastination, and all these things that these qualities that, because we feel like, oh, you know what, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Instead of practicing patience, instead of practicing, learning new things. In terms of those qualities, I in your business, what do you think is necessary for somebody to be successful these days? Do you think? I know there's a lot of qualities, right? You need to have a lot of these qualities. But what do you think for you that one quality has been, like, in terms of, like, do you think it's been patience? Do you think it's been preparation? What do you think sticks out the most for you?
Man. Hard work. I think hard work is by far what I think has gotten me to where I am. You have to be, self-motivated, self-driven. I say to this day, I tell a lot of people, I don't have to get up and go to work every day. I really don't. I don't need to be where I need to be. I've been able to grow the business where I don't need to be there every day, and I don't need to do this, and I don't need to do that. But you'll see me every morning there at the gym, 8:00 in the morning. It's just the way I am. It's it's the drive, the hard work. I'm a creature of nature. My sister tells me all that all the time. She says, like, you just I know where you're gonna be. I know what you're gonna do. I know how you're gonna do, because I follow the same routine. In the sense of, like, how I like to live my life, in the sense of, going to bed early, waking up early, with my kids, or my meetings, or my this or my that. I have my meeting set. It's just hard work. It's just, making sure you're putting in the time to do what you need to do. I think that is just so important. I think people underestimate. Those are two things that I always, and I know I was telling you last time about how I hire people and what I'm looking for when I hire, but I also look for two other things, hard work and honesty. Those are two characteristics or traits that, that you can't teach to someone. It's just in someone. If they're hardworking, they're hardworking. If they're lazy, they're just lazy. You cannot make them a hard worker. If someone is just a dishonest person, they're going to continue to be dishonest. You can't change someone like that. And I've already realized that. So those are two things I do look for. Besides, what I mentioned before, what I look for when I'm hiring someone. You gotta hire someone who's smart. Humble, and hungry. Those you have to hire those those things with people. You need to, they have to be intelligent. They have to, because they make good decisions, and they, if you can find the ideal individual. Those three things you should look for besides hard work. Hungry goes into hard work. You're hungry. Right. That's hard work. Honesty, I think, goes into to humble. Someone being humble.
Humble, integrity.
Yeah. All goes into that. And I think if you find someone like that, grab them, take them, put them under your wing, and teach them as much as you can, because at the end of the day, they're going to be your right-hand man. They're going to help you go to where you need to be. So,
and kind of a branch of that is loyalty. You and your staff, I go in there into the gym and I'll see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of people that have been with you since the beginning.
Yes.
How important is that, man? Like, how important is that sense of family within? I've even been to some of your Christmas parties, and everybody it's a vibe, man.
Yeah.
It's a vibe that you don't see with other organizations. How do you think that came to be? And why is that so important to your organization?
Last time we talked about being so family oriented, and that's what it is. It's a family business. Sometimes my father attends the Christmas parties, and my mother attends them with him. My sister is there. My brother comes sometime. My other sister is there. So we're already a family to begin with, and it's an extension of our family. So we try to bring that atmosphere. I think bringing that culture, that atmosphere, that what we're trying to build is really important. I think people don't take it for granted how important building a good, strong culture for your employees and making that family-oriented type business. And for us, it just comes natural. People have been with us for years, and they take ownership of the company. They would sometimes take care of the company better than I would. Like when someone comes in and they're like, Eliud, this person, this, and that. And I'm all like, okay, well, why don't we do this, and that? They're like, no, why don't we do this, and this, because it's better because of this. Whatever the case may be. And they're looking out for the business more than I would sometimes. And not saying that, I'm not looking out for the business. It's just like they really take ownership of the business, and they've been there a long time. They love the company. They see our vision for growth and for our expansion, and understanding that I promote within. I'm a huge believer in promoting within. I think that helps people realize that there's opportunity, and when they know there's opportunity, they're going to put in more time and effort and work harder for you. So but yeah, you've been to our Christmas parties, and we like to have a good time. And my top guys that are with me understand that we could go out and have a beer, but there's a fine line. When we're open for business, we're open for business, and it's none of this. Well, you were nice to me yesterday, and you bought me a drink, and now you're gonna yell at me. Well, yeah, that's exactly the way it goes. That's exactly how.
Hey, when it's time to clock in, it's time to clock in.
And same thing. My father's been which it's a difficult thing. For him to crack the whip on us like employees. He, like I said, he doesn't get involved in the sense of day-to-day operations. He doesn't do any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, he has a pretty strong vote when things need to get done. Sure. Probably stronger than all of ours.
Hey, man.
I hate to say it. That's why I say probably.
But he I guess with right. Because he made that jump. He had a vision, and he believed in that vision, and he believed in his son and his kids, and so hats off to him. He's definitely what you need to do is like that movie, put the Godfather, just put a picture, one of those big pictures of him there in one of the clubs.
He's
and just put visionary.
Everyone. It's funny. Everyone who has ever met him always says, "I love your father. He's like the greatest guy. He's nice." I was like, "It's because you don't know him too well, do you?" He treats you way nicer than he treats us. But it's like I see how he treats our kids. Sorry, grandkids. It's like they could get away with murder. Like they get away with murder, and I think to myself, never ever growing up would he ever let us get away with any of that. It is the craziest thing, and we bring it to their attention, both my mother and father. I'm just like, how is that even possible? How are you guys okay with this? They're like, well, you guys
we're grandparents now.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have a rite of passage.
Yeah.
We already went through that with you.
Yeah.
We're coasting right now.
It's we really messed up with you guys, or we did a good job. It's too late.
You talked about, I think, promoting within.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to, why experience and touching on that. As you start to move forward, and you also mentioned, again, also that you're the boss, you can take, time off. Do you think, I would imagine your actions, what you do impacts your employees?
Definitely. I'm a big believer in leading by example. I'm a big believer, if I'm not willing to go and sweep and scrub, like you'll catch me sometimes. It was a funny thing, I think my wife was mentioning to someone that, it's because you don't know my husband, like the way he is. Like he'll get on the floors and like if he needs something cleaned, he'll get on his hands and knees and he'll scrub it to teach you and show you how he likes it done. I'm very like that. So, I did that the other day without knowing that she had said that, and she was all like, "See, that's the way he is." And you'll catch me. I'm outside with a tree, and I have one of those. I'm teaching my guy how to cut the tree where the leaves aren't gonna get on the cars. I'll sweep, I'll mop. Nothing bothers me. I'll use a machine to scrub the floors because, first of all, I like to know how it's used and how it works and how long it takes to get something done. Because at the end of the day, I need to have knowledge behind it, because I can't tell someone to do something and expect them to do it in a certain amount of time or to get it done efficiently or it wasn't done correctly if I didn't do it myself and understand the reason why it could or could not be done. So yeah, I think leading by example is really important. I would never walk by a piece of trash without getting down and picking it up. I won't. If I see a spill, I'll either go find a cone to put it on, or I'd go get some paper towels. I'll put it down right there, and then I'll make sure someone gets out there to make sure that they clean it so it's not sticky. But I'm one of those guys. I will get down. I'll move treadmills if I need to, and that's not part of my job. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, that's what I want to do, or no. But I think it's an important it's an important thing to do when other employees see you do it. They if you walk in, and I've done this before to see what happens. I walk in, I'll just start cleaning the front desk because I see it dirty, and I start you'll see how quickly everyone else starts cleaning around me as well. Everyone starts realizing, hey, well,
boss is clean. Oh, boss is here. Time to turn it on. Yeah.
And I tell you, I always have stories, and I always have. But I was when I was in my previous life, when I was working, in corporate America, I was out there working, and my general manager, it's like everyone feared the guy, but they loved him. It was the weirdest thing. And that was the person who I wanted to be. I remember that at the time when I was like, man, I want everyone to fear me, but love me at the same time. And it's difficult to get both. And when I mean fear, I don't mean fear in the sense of be scared of me, no, but like respect me.
Respect.
Yeah, that respect aspect. And I remember the reason why is because he was walking in, and there was a guy standing there, and he was like, oh. And he just goes in the air and he just starts doing this, like pretending he's cleaning like a desk. But he was just doing it in the air, but as a joke. Right. And I thought that was the funniest thing, but I thought but then I started paying attention, and everyone, when they saw him, just started working. I was like, wow, man, this guy has a lot of power. But everyone loved him. They did a grassroots, and they figured out, how he ranked with everyone, and he ranked A's everywhere. Like everyone loved the guy. But yet they were, I don't want to say feared him, but you know what I mean. I was just,
sure.
That's an impressive thing because, most people who, if you're going to go and get on someone's butt to do something, a lot of times they're not going to like you, and so for him to get on someone's butt and then you like the guy afterwards, it's like, wow, that's hard to accomplish.
Yeah. Do you think that you've gotten to that level?
No. Yes, and no. It depends on what club I'm at. No, I'm kidding.
I'm only respected and loved in some of the places.
Yeah. Now, like if I go to my home club, everyone feels a little more comfortable around me because I'm a personable person. I'm able to talk to. So I'm not saying that they don't respect me or anything like that, but they're not as if I would walk into the North Central Club. I think more people really jump on their toes. If I go to one of my Valley clubs and I walk in and everyone's just like, oh man, like, Eliud's here,
Right.
stuff like that. But not as much as Del Mar because I'm there every day. It's like everything else, If you see someone, it's like, let's say a celebrity, you're out and you see a celebrity, you're like, hey man, it's your favorite celebrity. But then you start hanging out with the guy for a month. After a while, it's like, it's no big deal. I don't know how to explain it, but basically, I'm not a celebrity or anything, nothing like that. That's not where I'm getting at.
No. But I think after a while, people become kind of comfortable with your presence,
Correct.
and so I think that's the feeling that you get when.
But still getting the job done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they slack off or anything like that. No, nothing like that. It's just they feel a little more. They're not jumping.
Right. I think in any corporate America, whatever, somebody. You build a bond and you have that certain type of bond, but then maybe the district manager comes in or the boss's boss comes in and then everybody's like, yo, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta clean? What? So on the flip side of things, you're very customer based business.
Yes.
Talking a little bit about customer service. Why is and I'm a member of your club, and one of the things that I've noticed about the membership is that you care about what people think about you.
Oh yes.
Your customers.
Correct.
You care about that.
Yes.
There's sort of like this philosophy behind it. Some businesses have gravitated away from that or don't really care about their persona, like what people, the impression that they leave on their customers. Yeah. Why is that important to you?
I think knowing what people think of you, it could be the most simple thing. I remember where I saw value in listening to someone. Someone had mentioned like, hey, we do surveys and that we do surveys and we send out surveys and we find out what people think of us and we do a bunch of stuff like that. And someone goes, hey, you guys, why don't you guys have a scale in the restroom? Why don't you guys have a scale in the restroom? And I read that and I was like, why don't we have a scale in the restroom? I don't weigh myself at the club, but I never knew that. Yeah. Something so simple cost us $20, $25 to put in there. After we put that, you should have seen the reviews. They just went up. Not a lot of people were saying that they didn't like it, but a lot of people said they loved it after it got there. And it was that simple where I saw, wow, I saw so much value in listening to people. And of course, service is a great thing, but literally listening to what your members want or listening what your clients want. And if you're able to do what they want, why not do it? One person, they always say one person who says it, 10 people are thinking it, so, and I saw that because it was the easiest thing. And I'm talking about 10 years ago. I put in that scale and it's just like, boom, everyone was like, whoa, this is great. Whoa, this is awesome. And I was like, whoa, you guys finally put a scale, finally got a good scale. And, it was just, you'll be surprised on how, and people respect that and like that about us, that we do listen to our clients. We can't be there all the time. We can't be, like myself, I can't be in all my clubs. I can't be, I was at the Del Mar Club, and that's when they said it, because I'm there all the time. But I never weighed myself, so I didn't think it was a big deal. But it was a big deal to a lot of people. Right. So even though you're there all the time, you don't realize it because it might be something you do. Like, let's just say I don't run on treadmills. Well, I never know when treadmills are down because I never run on them. But I would get on the stair climber or the Stairmaster or whatever the case may be, and I realize when those are down because, hey, I use these. So I'm always noting. So it's always good to know what everyone thinks of your facility. That's the only way you're going to get to the next level. And I always say, like, I don't care about being the best in Laredo. That's not what I care about. I want to be the best anywhere. I could go to Austin and I'll be one of the top clubs. I could go to New York and I'll be a top club. You know, that's my mentality for striving for excellence. And service is a huge part of that. And I think everyone's gravitated towards service. At least clients. You know, we have Yelp, we have Google reviews, we have even Facebook. You know, people are always putting stuff on social media, and one person will post something bad on Facebook, and everyone sees it. Everyone has Facebook, and everyone has Instagram nowadays, or even though I don't have either.
We're live on Facebook right now. Who knows if they're giving us bad reviews right now? But I think what you touched on is value, and you're giving value to your clients. By listening to them, you know now how to provide value.
Yeah.
And I think that's key. So listening, providing value. And you earlier, I wanted to ask you this, and you talked about your routine. What has been, what's a routine that maybe not even your employees know about, that you do, at home, to kind of keep you motivated, to keep your eyes on your next goal?
Alcohol. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Liquid courage. Liquid motivation.
Yeah.
Do you have a dream board? Do you have do you write down goals? What do you do for self-empowerment, self-motivation? Where do you get that from in terms of a routine? Do you have one?
I don't have like a dream board. I don't have, you know what it is? I think a lot of what I do and why I do it is, I hope for my kids to respect me and think that I did great for them. So a lot of what I do, I think of my kids, my family, and just try to be the best, for them. My wife keeps on telling me that two of my daughters really want to be artists. Well, I got to work harder to support them for the rest of their lives. Apparently, no. But I'm just saying that I think that's a big thing.
Dad,
for me.
I need an art studio.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of what I do is for my kids. I think that's a lot that drives me, that motivates me, that pushes me. As well as I work hard. I think I work hard. I think I put in a lot of time. I make, I'm always available for any of my management team, for any of the employees who want to talk to me. I'm always available. My brothers and sisters, I'm always available. And I'm also always available for my kids, my family, my wife. It's just I put a lot of, I've been able to balance my work and family really well. I believe I have. I think that's what I lacked a lot at the beginning. Being an entrepreneur, you realize you lose a lot of family time. You're working so much. Or if you're with your family, you're really not with them because mentally you have other things in your mind. And I've been able to, with a lot of guys who I hang out with in business and certain boards I'm part of and certain groups I'm part of, they've taught me you really need to balance both to have a good lifestyle. And I've learned that. I learned health is very important. Family is very important, and work's very important. Those are the three things. And it's funny, there's a survey that I do every time I get together with a group that I'm part of, and we get together 3 times a year. And first thing they ask you, how's your family life? How's your work life? And how's your life? And you answer that, 1 through 10. My family's this, my this is that. And because those are the 3 most important things. When you have to balance all of them, because it just can't be all about your family. It just can't all be about work. It can't just all be about you. You got to take care of yourself as well. You got to eat right. You got to work out, mentally, be focused often, be able to turn it on and turn it off when needed. And I think I'm getting better at that. I think that was one thing I lacked a lot.
Balance.
That balance, yes. And you know, like I said, my goals and what drives me is
Your family.
my family. Yeah.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the legacy part of it. It's just, you know, I want my kids to be proud. You know, I want them to look up at me.
Yeah.
You know?
What your kids look back on you and say, man, that was my pop.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
was my
yeah.
pop.
That is what I strive for.
I guess very, very similar to what I you know, when I hear you speak of your father, I see
It's like that. Yeah.
like that type of
Yeah.
you know, that impact that you had on another individual.
Yeah.
I
might not tell him all the time, but you know, he's been, you know, probably the most impactful person in my life, to be able to do what I do and to be who I am and you know, have what we have, you know.
Right. It's, I think, again, a molding of an individual through lesson.
Yeah.
You know, through, hey, you know what, you gotta find your way, man.
Yeah. You know,
you gotta find it. I can't help you.
Yeah.
You've got to find it. You got to take everything that I've taught you, and you've got to take that and you've got to use it and find a way.
I've been like, I can't stress how I've been blessed to have like a mentor. And I just want to say mentor because he's my father and someone so close to me. You know, it's a lot of people don't get that or have that or would never have that. You know, and you know, I've been able to have that, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. 5-10 years from now, what do I expect to see from you?
Like I told you, I'm going to rule the world.
Yeah.
I said
today, Brian.
When we were muted, I said that.
5-10 years from now, let's go 5 years.
5 years.
What do I see from Eliud Garcia?
You know, growing the business, we're continuing to grow. Last week I told you I had just sent out the contract for the new car wash. You know, we opened up a car wash right next to the Gold's Gym, Aqua Express Car Wash.
Go visit. Get a membership.
Yeah, exactly. It's a membership-based car wash. So I just sent off we're going to start a second location for that one. You know, we have 2 properties available already for 2 more fitness facilities. And each one of our clubs, we have property next to it for the valley. So, you know, there's potential for expansion or for a car wash or for something if we want, or we could sell. You know, there's growth. There's a lot of growth in the next 5 years, and in the next 10 years, there's more growth. So, you know, we want to continue to grow the business. We want to continue to grow the company, grow as individuals, and just, you know, be able to service, you know, our Laredo in the valley, you know, and maybe even other cities if possible. So,
South Laredo, Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
It within the next 5 years?
Yeah, well, easily in the next 5 years. Yeah, right. That's one of the properties you already have. So we have a couple properties, and one of them is on the south of Laredo. So another one's in the valley. Those 2 will be coming sooner than later. I'll tell you that much. So we have we're going to be for sure at 10 clubs and maybe negotiating for more territories. For Gold's Gym, and then for the car
to take over the world.
Exactly. Yeah, South Texas first. It's you know, baby steps. Baby steps.
And I'll end with this, brother. There's probably somebody out there that's going to hear your story, and I hear it and I get fired up, man. Everybody that sits on that chair where you're sitting, it just inspires the hell out of me because of the different things that you talk about, from experience to patience to work ethic to character. And for somebody out there watching that's thinking about jumping into business, what would you recommend to them that maybe, you know, last time we talked about it, you have an employee that tells you all the time, He wants to be you.
Yeah. That's his goal. He wants to. He goes, you know, what my goal is to sit where you're sitting. You know, everyone has a goal, and that's a great goal to have. And you know, like, yeah, I did mention that last time. Yeah. He's a good guy. And honestly, if anyone's able to do it, he's able to do it.
And the cool thing is, you don't even take offense to it. You're just like, do it, bro.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. If anyone's able to do it, I know he's capable of doing it.
And typically, like in the Mexican American culture, we're used to kind of like that crab in the bucket syndrome.
No, I am a big believer in everyone succeeding. It makes me happy for someone to succeed. If I help someone be successful, if I teach someone something that made them mentally or physically or something enhance themselves in some way, that actually, I like that. I think that's a great thing. I think helping people, you know, I like sharing the wealth. I'm not a greedy person. I think everyone, you know, everyone, you know, if I have an opportunity to help someone and make some money and whatever, by all means, I'm always trying to help people. And that's one thing about me where, you know, I think I don't think I've helped anyone really yet, but I want to. No, I'm kidding. But no, I think that's an important thing.
I think you do help. I mean, you're fast approaching almost. What do we say? How many employees you're?
Man, last time I checked, we're probably roughly around the 400 mark.
You're in the 400 mark range. Yeah. Pretty soon, you could be in the corporation mark area.
Still small business.
Yeah, you're still small business, but
if IRS asks,
but
I think we are anyways.
But I think you are helping a lot of people. But for that person out there who's thinking about being their own boss and wanting to or chase their dreams, whatever it is, maybe it's an education dream, or maybe it's a dream of owning a new home. What do you think is necessary? Of all the characteristics, do you think maybe it's learning new skills? Do you think it's patience? Do you think it's risk taking? What do you think is the necessary, characteristic needed so that you can achieve and succeed?
You know, it's a combination of all of them. I can't say that one's stronger than the other, you know, because I've seen it all. I've seen, you know, different characteristics succeed differently. So I could never pinpoint. I could tell you, you know, what's helped me succeed, but not necessarily would help anyone. Like everyone succeed the same way. It's like in nutrition, like everyone says, like, oh, well, this is the way you should eat and you're gonna get healthy. Well, not necessarily, because something you eat might work for your body but doesn't work for my body, and we won't get the same results. It's just we're all different. And I think success is different as well, and getting to what you need to do, you know, you have to have a combination of all of them. You know, I think, you know, hard work is important. I think, you know, being smart, you know, humble, hardworking, hungry, you know, is always important characteristics and traits to have. You know, you need to be you know, man, risk-taking is an important part as well. Like I said, it's just a combination of everything. And I can't say one is more important than the other. I can't say that, you know, you need to have all these to be successful, because, right, you know, you don't necessarily need all of them. You just need a few. And if you're good at one thing and, you know, focus on it and work at it. But you can't be scared of hard work. You can't be scared of risks. You can't be scared of a lot of things. You got to be, you know, willing to fail and get back up and keep on going, you know, put in the time, put in the effort, you know, get your feelings hurt, man. You know, some people you put a lot of trust in and you give them everything and they'll turn around and, you know, stab you in the back. It happens, and, you know, don't let that bring you down. Just continue, try to make the right decisions a lot. You know, I think, you know, decision making is really important as well, because, you know, there's a saying. Can I say something like bad word or no? Not really.
Go ahead, say it.
You know, my father.
Say what's on your mind.
My father always would tell. My father has a lot of sayings, and he always says that. He always says, "Nomás a los huevones y a los pendejos le va mal." He always says that to us. Nomás a los huevones y a los pendejos, and it's true if you think about it. You know, if you're, and when he means, he means
lazy and stupid people.
Yeah, and when he means stupid, he means like making bad decisions. Going down the wrong path. Lying, cheating, stealing. All that stuff is what that term comes from. And making bad decisions. Sometimes you can't help. If
you make a bad decision, but you don't learn from that bad decision.
Correct. So. I'm a big believer in that little statement right there. Yeah. Hard work really would take you far. Would take you very far. So.
You heard it from the man, ladies and gentlemen. Big investments being made in our community here in Laredo, courtesy of Eliud Garcia and family. I can't tell you how inspiring your story is. To not only me, but to everybody that watches this video, and including, I think, when your kids look back on the work that you've done. And when I hear you speak, I hear a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these characteristics that are they are necessary.
Yeah.
You do need to be hardworking. You do need to be humble. You do need to be patient. You do need to be willing to scrub toilets, mop floors, even when you're the boss.
Yeah.
When you tell me that you do this stuff, man, you need to be willing to show up even when you don't have to.
Yeah.
These are characteristics.
Self-driven, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be driven. And I think that's why you're where you are, brother. I mean, I just... Very, very cool. Always cool talking to you.
Thank you.
And one of the things that always sticks out with you particularly is that you want to learn new skills.
Yeah.
Learning new skills is essential.
Continuous education is always important.
Continuous education.
Yep.
How does a wax machine work? I want to know so that I can tell this guy this is how it's supposed to be done.
Exactly. I swear, I'm literally like that. I am the weirdest guy. I'm all like, well, the only thing I stay away from, I'll tell you one thing, is electricity. I do not like electricity for some reason. Anything with electricity.
You're not messing with the breaker box.
I never, But everything else, I'll get my hands dirty with some plumbing, AC units, that doesn't bother me. Toilets, figuring them out, understanding why things are running a certain way, and so.
And it's paid off, I think, in big ways. Eliud Garcia, everybody. Brother, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me here for the second time.
Second time. And actually, we will, as we grow this show, because we're going to grow it, we're going to take over the world.
Nice.
We will reach out to you again to have you on the show again, because I think there's a lot more that you have, an inspiration that you have to share with everybody out there.
Thank
I
you.
really do.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And if you want to go see Eliud possibly waxing the floors at his club on
or scrubbing,
or scrubbing, or even cleaning the front desk, keeping people in check. Make sure you visit goldsgym.com/Laredo TX.
Yes,
correct.
correct.
Make sure you visit that website, get more information, become a part of a group of people that not only exercise your body, but your mind and your spirit. Thanks again, man, for being on the show, brother.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank our sponsors, Family Chevrolet, Family Nissan, Eliud Garcia, and the Gold's Gym family. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another installment of, and a big thank you to our friends here at Mile 1 here in downtown Laredo, 1312 Houston. Grow yourself. Learn new skills is the biggest takeaway from today. Thanks for watching. Thank you, everybody.
Unfortunately, Laredo, a storm decided to come in and that storm had hail. Fortunately for you, that means huge savings. We are currently assessing the damages to the cars, and we challenge you to come and find some of the minor imperfections. The exciting part is that deep discounts will be available on all our inventory. You can take a car as is and save thousands, or we can fix it and have you drive away in it. Either way, we've got the Hail Yes sales event starting now at Family Chevrolet and Family Nissan.